we have prepared for you a collection with the most explosive emotions, exciting moments, and incredible achievements in the world of sports. From epic victories to incredible feats, these moments will make you feel the full power and passion of the sport. So, are you ready to plunge into the atmosphere of endless possibilities? Then don't miss our selection of sports highlights. Your amazing adventure begins now! Speed, adrenaline, and the art of control are all embodied in this video. Just a bit more, and who knows where this sports car would have gone. It turns out that even table tennis can be so dynamic. The main thing is that the audience does not get confused about who is playing for which team. The bird is just incredibly lucky to slip right in front of a car that is moving at a speed of almost 200 miles per hour. It doesn't matter how you hit, it's important how you hold the punch, is the credo of the motorcyclist in the video. They say that tough guys don't look at the explosion, but our hero is a goalkeeper and his task is to catch the pucks. What a brilliant jump! The audience award shall be taken by this guy. One can't conquer the mountain, one can only climb it. But our hero did not manage to do that either. Will someone remind her that pole vaulting involves getting off the ground? It seems that the girl decided to take off, but forgot to release her tight grip. Excellent training always brings results. In this case, such a brilliant jump took the athlete to new heights in her career. Well, what can I say? It was perfect. This is another proof that diligence and talent are the keys to success. Even in the world of shooting, which seems to be an extremely precise discipline, epic failures happen once in a while. It is important to be prepared for unexpected events to cope with any obstacles on the way. As you can see, any failure can be turned into a victory if the desire to perform well on the ski slope is stronger than anything. Sometimes in tennis, the racket turns out to be in the wrong place, so your face becomes the most important tool. Well, it happens. However, having a black eye is not the best trophy, you must agree. Having got into a critical situation, the driver managed not only to masterfully find a way out of it, but also quickly return to the competition. It feels like the stone was deliberately flying straight into the car. When you drive at a high speed, a lot of things can happen. That's what it means when people say sleight of hand and no fraud. The speed of this guy is simply impossible to follow with the naked eye. Yes, it's just real magic on the ice. This is not just an accurate strike, but also a well thought out strategy and full confidence in their abilities. That's the real involvement in the process. The guys probably wanted to win since they decided to perform such tricks. You can score a spectacular goal with your head not only in football. Who knew that hockey has real masters of dizzying tricks? I wouldn't be surprised if this guy even prepares his breakfast like that. This is a real show of dexterity and precision. We don't know what helped him achieve this result more. Are these years of training or luck?
Oh, it's on. It's on. But the first leg of the match. Brilliant for Blue Cutler and his World Series debut.
It seems that the laws of gravity simply do not exist for him. We are thrilled. The time is stopping, everyone is holding their breath, and he is missing it. Wow, it turned out to be so easy for this guy. Was he born with a basketball in his hands? This is what I call the most epic end of the meeting. Every real hockey player does not turn their face away from danger. He just has a third eye on the back of his head. I have no words. You definitely haven't seen such a thing. It wasn't just brave, it was almost impossible. It happens that even the most talented athletes do not always keep their balance during acrobatic stunts. But the fall can also be spectacular. As you can see, it's also an art. After a tiring run, the two runners found the strength not only to recover, but also to flirt with the fans a little. Their smiles and playful gestures added even more cuteness to the sports day. The tension was obvious when the fencers, moving synchronously, were so close that a physical collision became inevitable. The audience held their breath watching such an unexpected, intense moment of their meeting. His high jump skills are so impressive that he needs to think about changing his favorite sport. Perhaps athletics is his true path? With these skills, medals will not keep him waiting for too long. Bullying an opponent in the ring before the start of the fight is risky business. It's always worth remembering the law of karma, which does not forgive arrogance. Often if a fighter is too confident in himself, karma shows who is the real boss here.
What a twist! Haven't you expected to see this either, have you?
This dog decided to enter the bike trail and added unpredictability to the race. However, fortunately for everyone, the story ended well for both sides. Neither the animal nor the cyclist were injured. Watching a professional handle a stick is a pleasure. Each maneuver is executed with such ease and precision that you involuntarily begin to admire the incomparable skills. In boxing, the rules are simple. Either you're a winner or you're defeated. But there are times when things don't go according to plan and even the referee can't restore order.
He's a boxer, he knows discipline is required. And
What Dylan White did there was real smart. He said it looks terrible, but he was smart because the referee...
It turns out that even such strongmen can sometimes fail to calculate their capabilities and fail. The players have already become so immersed in the game that they seem to have become one in the flow of movements. You should always be on your guard in sports. You never know where the next pitch will come from and how it will have to be hit. This is the case when professional skiing is turned into an ordinary downhill slide. What a sharp eye you need to have in order to foresee a mistake at the moment and immediately rush to cover the athlete. That's why you always need a safety net in such cases. He was going to show off his skills at table tennis competitions, but fate turned its back on him. As a result, instead of brilliance, he had to get only the second place. This motorcyclist is a real daredevil. With such a risky driving style, it is quite possible to hurt his knees in the literal sense of the word.
From Marc Marquez, he looked like he was going over the front, and somehow he stays on. Gives a guy a cape. Absolutely.
During a badminton tournament, one has to manage to catch a shuttlecock with a racket. You can't witness something like that every day. Who would you use a stick on the ice if you can, like in football, score the puck with your feet? But it's much more difficult to do it with your feet and skates. It all started so well. The girls took a great pace, and some of them even overcame the first obstacle. However, the false start ruined everything. What can you do about it? The desire for victory and the willpower of this young man are simply amazing. Despite being completely exhausted, he desperately crawls on his knees to the finish line, leaving his rivals no chance. After scoring the goal, the hockey player, full of enthusiasm, apparently waited for recognition from the team on the bench. But instead of words and gestures of support, his teammates decided to refresh him a little. Never let them foresee your next move. This guy seemed confused, but immediately defeated the opponent with an unexpected serve.
What reactions! What ability! What entertainment! How on earth has he made that?
He's a real madman. Not only did he put the result of the races on the line, but also his life. This guy did not just despair after the goal, but immediately struck back with even more points.
To be honest, I'm speechless after witnessing it. What about you?
He was too close to the coveted goal, but he probably forgot that one needs to score the ball in front of the goal, not from behind. When everything was terrible already in the middle of the race, the cyclist broke down and, not finding a better way out, threw his bike somewhere on the side of the road. I wouldn't call it a smart approach. In this case, it didn't even come to a jump. The pole failed the athlete, irreparably breaking at the most crucial moment. These three girls played so well that they were able to throw basketballs into one basket at the same time. Their well-coordinated work and phenomenal hits looked incredibly cool. This race will definitely be remembered for this failure. At a critical moment, when it was necessary to step on the gas, for some reason, the driver decided to retreat and drive back. When this four-wheeled monster performs a backflip, even the laws of gravity stand up to applaud. Can't you do the same? Well, everyone has their own talent. As you can see, after all the weeks of preparation, her big moment ended in complete failure. Even a stone would cry if it saw so much effort turn to dust. Honey, losing is not a real reason to knock out the racket. To vent your emotions, maybe you should practice yoga rather than tennis. That's what a real victory full of action looks like. Just a split second decided the outcome of the game. Bravo! Ah, what a tense moment. Such a hit was on the verge of success. What can I say? This is some real magic on ice. We did not expect such an outcome in any way. This is what victory looks like when you use the last drop of your strength. Bravo! Such a triumph is worth admiration. I think he is too busy with the game. It can happen to anyone. Maybe in such a tense game, it's really better to use two rackets at once. The main thing is to land successfully. Even professional athletes are not immune from such accidents of fate. No wonder they say that in sports, not only strength and endurance are important, but also a sharp mind to think through your tactics and strategy of the game so cleverly.
It counts! The Heat win the game! Dwayne Wade won it for Miami! 126 to 125!
That's the thirst for victory. Even in such a critical situation, he tried to protect the goal at any cost. Did you know that sledding is an official sport? Looking at this guy, it doesn't look very safe. Take a look at what's going on. The athlete, without any fear and safety measures, skillfully moves along the wall of the arena as if gravity is just a myth. This is something funny. Cycling on bicycles turns into a real football match. But don't rush to judge. After all, scoring a goal while driving your two-wheeled friends is not an easy task. Even despite the fall at the end, such a trick left everyone delighted. Can you imagine how many hours, days, or weeks it must have taken to bring it to such perfection?
There are things that are absolutely impossible to believe, and how could this even happen?
Someone is really having a gift to be able to jump huge distances. Despite the red flag, the athlete showed a good result. She accelerated like the wind, but the rest was terrible. Despite the apparent success, disappointment is evident in the eyes. Everything is far from the record. Why not? High net volleyball is a new challenge. Now the players will have to learn how to hit the ball much higher than usual. How did he do it? This is a big question, but they had to get the stick out of the fence while spending a lot of time and emotions. He was 100% focused, but he got his priorities wrong. I never thought that badminton could be so spectacular. This happens incredibly rarely. Their time difference is 1/1000th of a second. Here is a perfect proof that you should not give up at the first sign of failure. Size doesn't always matter, in this competition for sure. Why does the goalkeeper score in his own goal? In addition, he does it with such brilliance. Wow, that was just incredible. The goalkeeper just turned on the superhero mode. How come? She planned to get the best result, but everything turned out to be not that great. I would call it satisfactory. Apparently, she couldn't gather her thoughts in time. This is exactly what a complete failure looks like, but there will be good lessons for the future. You never have to hurry, otherwise you can regret it very much. The racer put on a real show on the track, which incredibly pleased all the spectators of the competition. Indeed, everything looked very spectacular. The tennis player aimed for a spectacular shot, but overdid it with force so the racket couldn't stand it. As you can see, their eyes are full of complete bewilderment. What a shame! Not only did the performance fail, but the landing from the crossbar was so unsuccessful that further participation in the competition is questionable. Apparently today is just not her day. Because of the false start in the pool, everything did not go according to plan. Too much adrenaline, and that's the result. They started too early. Sometimes stress helps or breaks everything. The shuttlecock decided to make a drama right on the grid. As you can see, it wanted to have some rest. The rivals froze for a moment in disbelief. What's next? Such moments add more adrenaline to the game. Badminton is not just about waving rackets. Being smart and using your strategy is important here. The winner is always the one who does not just hit the shuttlecock, but thinks, anticipating the opponent's moves. Sometimes basketball players just seem superhuman. How is it even possible to throw the ball straight into the net from such a distance without even straining? The goalkeeper was one step away from failure, but managed to hit the ball in time, even though he had to pay for it with an unpleasant fall. These girls were clearly holding on with the last of their strength for good reason. After all, the first places are taken by them. Just look at their real and sincere emotions. This day will definitely remain forever in the memory not only of the newlyweds, but also of many spectators of this match. This is certainly the joke of fate. How unlucky do you have to be in order for an already scored ball to roll out of the hole by itself? It is incredible to see what he has done to defeat his opponent. He performed the maneuver so masterfully that even combat veterans would have applauded standing up. Everyone has their own ritual before the big start, right? Now pay attention to the approach of this athlete before performing the jump. Everything looked very funny. Such a series of jumps is really impressive. I just want to applaud him. He does incredible things, while his vestibular apparatus is out of this world. What a surprise! The hockey player suddenly decided that he no longer needed the stick and broke by using the goal right during the game. This is not the smartest move, yet spectacular. How could she refuse to jump at the last moment? It was not just unexpected, but downright stupid. Now, unfortunately, she will have to return home without results, without even knowing what she was capable of. Risk is an integral part of any performance where athletes depend only on a mat on the floor that can mitigate possible falls. This is a tense moment where every move can lead to unexpected consequences. Watching the pair of skaters in front of us is a pleasure. They performed the trick with such grace and professionalism that even the ice arena itself held its breath. The race has not started yet, as one of the drivers has already decided to give up. Now, the rest of the team will have to deal with the opponents themselves. This serve was perfect, but the goalkeeper's agility and reaction speed turned out to be many times better. Even though the ball knocked out the glove, it still remained in the hand. The heavy barbell was on the verge of conquest. Just a little more and it could be a victory, but strangely enough, this piece of iron decided to show character, being harder than even the strongest desire to win. The crossbar sometimes behaves like a strict teacher. It will not miss a single mistake. What can you do? As I see it, it just does not tolerate frivolity. Athletes will have to learn from such unpleasant surprises. Have you ever seen a car driving sideways on a track, shrouded in a dusty curtain, like the main character of an action movie? This is not just driving, but a real art mixed with a touch of Hollywood drama. In this case, the racket slipped out of his hands. Well, why not? Maybe it decided to take the game into its own handle? Unfortunately, the opponent was in no mood to share the victory and hit the ball, interrupting the sudden solo of the racket on the court. Everything was ready for the perfect throw, but at the last moment the young man changed his plans. Often in sports, as in life, it is important to listen to intuition. Perhaps this saved him from some kind of mistake. Sometimes everything goes wrong from the very start, but this is not a reason for despair. Remember that the real skill is hidden in the ability to move forward despite all obstacles. With such a racket, one can beat off even the strongest serve. It seems that he deliberately made such a pitch to get a few seconds of respite. These beautiful girls charged the audience not only with their athletic achievements, but also with their cheerful mood. you'll always want to touch those things that are not worth touching. Not every performance in the arena ends with victory bells. Sometimes it's a fall, but it's not a reason to give up because a real athlete knows that every failure is a step towards the next victory.
Before watching similar videos, it would be great to buy some sedative pills. One needs nerves of steel here.
He really wanted to make a spectacular show to please the audience, but as we can see, it didn't work out. Sometimes our surrounding fails at the most important moment. In sports competitions, working in pairs is like building a house frame. You may be the best builder in the world, but if your partner makes a mistake, the whole house could collapse. Therefore, teamwork and a mutual trust play a key role in achieving success. Right on target. The shot was so accurate that the butt of the partner became the perfect starting point for the next spectacular pass in volleyball. The performance was breathtaking, and it was really hard not to admire him. But one unforeseen mistake turned everything upside down, as if a brick house had collapsed due to a tiny crack. Victory brings sincere joy, but everyone celebrates it in their own way. Sometimes athletes just can't hide their emotions, especially when they dedicate it to their loved ones. This is the moment when one can combine business with pleasure. When I see the goal, I see no obstacles. It's simply perfect. It seems that someone played the floor is lava game in childhood. This is definitely an underrated goalkeeper. His place on the pitch shall be among the strikers. These climbers will easily pass the casting for Spider-Man. The girls were clearly not taught how to tie their shoelaces in childhood. In this case, even 2 knockouts in a row did not mean defeat for this guy. He stood up proudly and crushed his opponent with the next blow. Many people in her place would also be unable to contain their admiration at the sight of such a perfect body. Even though the landing was not successful, there were no injuries. It's certainly not a perfect jump, but he definitely deserved the audience award as the funniest player. Even for gymnasts who literally float in the air creating incredible stunts, gravity can be merciless. I don't know why one of the hockey players got a playful slap in the face from a teammate, but he clearly didn't mind. It seems that even jokes in the team fly at the same speed as pucks. The performance was 100% success. The girls from the synchronized swimming team literally made the audience believe in magic. What can I say? They made the impossible possible and showed everyone that the boundaries are only in our heads. During the ski descent, the athlete suddenly lost one of the skis. Now he has to go down on one leg, while we can only applaud. Let's praise their steadfastness and the ability to hold a punch. When you are set up for a spectacular blow, a sudden fall turns out to be more spectacular and funny. Sometimes sports are not only about victories, but also about unexpected funny episodes. This tennis player could have hit the ball, but a sudden fall ruined the perfect moment. Such an unexpected and insulting turn of events spoiled her chance for a brilliant shot. The girls from the synchronized swimming team create a real water symphony with their movements. Their grace and uniformity of movements are truly admired, turning every performance into art.
And we're moving on at the speed of light. All the most interesting things are still ahead.
What a tension. However, the ball is in the ring. This video is for those who believe that table tennis is a game of relaxation. What a reaction! This style of play is confusing, so we are not surprised by his victory. You can immediately see that the guys spare no effort and play to the fullest. Who said that athletes don't lose their nerves? Sometimes that can happen even in the middle of a match. Maneuvering at this speed on a regular skateboard is the highest indicator of skill. This fall was so graceful that it might even seem like an integral part of the performance. This athlete has not even managed to jump yet, as she has already fallen. At such important competitions, it is better not to daydream. Is this a water jumping race? It doesn't look very safe. The hero of this video clearly demonstrates this. The hockey player was so happy with his well-scored goal that he could not stay on his feet and made a really spectacular show. Joy and clumsiness turned the moment into a funny episode on ice. Wow, what an intense game. There's a real fight going on the field, and it looks like the harder you hit, the higher the chance of winning. Every collision is worth its weight in gold. Still, it's nice to see that despite the tough attitude and the intensity of passion in the ring, the two athletes warmly embraced after the fight. This is the true spirit of sports. It's all about respect and friendship. The girl decided to do this while taking on an unbearable burden, but the weight of the barbell defeated her. At the moment when it seemed that luck was about to smile, her strength failed her, and her dream was ruined. Figure skaters on the ice demonstrated an incredible trick, making the audience hold their breath. Everything went according to plan, but a tiny mistake in the very finale ruined all efforts and led to a fall. Who would dare to argue that women's volleyball is a real feast for the eyes? Especially if the team demonstrates cohesion and well-coordinated play, turning the match into a real show. Bravo, what a smart girl. I like this one. This is the real pole vault. The athlete clearly caught her wave of luck today and rose to new heights. Do you want to see what a real failure is? The swordsman was let down not by her opponent's moves, but by her own feet, which slipped on the track and led to a spectacular fall. Anyway, she's gonna feel the consequences for a couple of weeks. Such a free throw took an unexpected turn. This handball player turned out to be not that simple. What a magical performance. Alexander Rybak has a worthy competitor now. Does it seem like there was a large amount of money at stake, or is he genuinely happy about scoring a goal? Her performance is simply impressive and inspiring. How did she manage to overcome such a height so easily?
National record for her. Highest jump in the world this year.
Perhaps we have a future Messi in front of us. Did the players forget the rackets at home? A real show can be arranged even without them. He was so close to failure. What an approach! When you thought about stunning the opponent with a strong serve, but it turned out to be so easy for him that he even managed to send it back. Being a judge during an active fight is very dangerous. That's why he was attacked too. What was that? Did the player want to make an unexpected substitution? Unfortunately, nothing worked out for him. Is this even allowed by the rules? In any case, such tricks did not help him score a goal. With such skills, these girls do not need to play on the beach, but go into professional sports. What a level of precision! Getting the ball into such a small hole the first time is just incredible. Their synchronization was successful. I wonder if they will count this goal.
If you want to switch to something else, don't be hurry. Something truly interesting is just about to begin.
It seems that this player was born with a cue in his hands. I want to tell the following: keep your nose clean. And we shall remember that age is not an obstacle in the world of sports. Can you imagine that she is 86 years old? He calculated everything, but the goalkeeper, well, today is not his day. The stadium is facing an energy overload. Maybe it's more interesting to play this way. The next step is a course of lectures on how to overcome all difficulties with the same ease with which he coped with this blow. This is the queen of bluff. These are real professionals in their field. It seems that it will start stopping at gas stations and paying for gasoline on its own very soon. Every goalkeeper makes mistakes, but sometimes a single mistake can cost a team a victory. When you haven't won yet, but you've started celebrating, what a triumphant fall! What a level of clarity and uniformity of movement. Oops, someone accidentally stumbled out of this perfect picture straight into the stands. What can I say? That was a really dizzying pitch. Just take a look at this grace and elegance. Gymnasts turn every performance into a real art on the ground and in the air. Their movements are so light and smooth as if they create incredible patterns in motion. How could she do it so easily without even looking at the ball? What an amazing ability! It turns out that in roller skating, not only speed and coordination are important, but also the ability to sit on the splits. That's what a real action looks like. Besides being an excellent swimmer, she has a couple more talents. It is very important to concentrate before starting the performance, so let's not bother her. Ah, do you feel this pain through the screen? Teamwork always brings good results. Maybe she didn't make the jump, but she landed amazingly.
If you haven't liked this episode yet, now is the best time to do it.
What a great reaction to the victory. I'm sure the men around her appreciated her spectacular gesture. Such a celebration definitely adds spice to the history of the competition. Before the start, each athlete finds his own way to deal with excitement. One listens to music and the other can meditate quietly. As they say, everyone has their own methods of calming down before the race. It's great when fans are so dedicated that they are willing to sacrifice their clothes in order to keep the ball in perfect condition. This is what real support looks like from the stands. These guys interact on the field as if reading each other's minds. This is real harmony in movement and team spirit in action. It seemed to start well, but the high jump failed because their butt turned out to be too heavy. This is what happens when ambitions rise and gravity pulls you down. At the beginning of each race, the athletes take poses that attract the attention of photographers who will not miss the chance to take such a picture. But for athletes, this is just part of a big game where every moment is a way to show yourself in all their glory. When powerful punches are directed at your body and face in the ring, but you don't even care. You can even dance. What an endurance! Do you think rowing requires male strength and endurance? This girl on the water proves the opposite, debunking all the myths. One motorcycle racer decided to finish the race effectively, but his opponent wasted no time and finished first. What a smart move! Not everyone will dare to perform such a trick on skates. Spinning on ice with a partner requires not only skill, but also unconditional trust in each other. Every movement must be synchronized to perfection. The puck was hit so accurately and quickly that it hit right under the hockey player's protective mask. However, the player is not upset. On the contrary, he is smiling and completely satisfied. At first glance, the long jump seemed to be a success. However, the athlete's face clearly expressed disappointment. Obviously, she expected more. In the midst of the race, when every second counts, suddenly you can feel that the bike seat has disappeared and there is only a cold metal pin sticking out. This definitely adds some adrenaline to the race. In tennis, outfits are often on the edge of being too nasty, so they have to watch every move. Just one careless turn, and we have an unsuccessful shot ready to get into the news feed. In hockey matches, passions go to the limit, and players sometimes forget about the main goal of the game. How about leaving your fists out and instead sending pucks straight into the opponent's goal, demonstrating true skill? She was too close to an epic failure, almost hitting her face on the trampoline during the jump. This is the real moment of luck. Even despite the unplanned landing on the butt, the performance left a vivid impression. How she manages not to lose her bearings after all these whirlwind jumps, it's a real mystery. Athletes often get caught in the lenses of photographers at the most unexpected moments. Well, in the world of big sports, similar juicy shots are simply inevitable. Why not? Riding a bull mascot instead of running is the perfect way to add more emotions to the competition and cheer up the audience. What a spectacular and bold move! A spare racket under your belt is a creative life hack for a table tennis player. But does it contradict the rules of sports? Is it a trick or a strategy?
It was so cool! It's hard to comprehend how this is even possible.
These jumps are a real delight despite a shaky landing. It must be admired that her vestibular apparatus works flawlessly, helping to stay in line even after daring aerial acrobatics. Now we have an unplanned timeout sponsored by a dog with a slipper. Such a completely different game suddenly started on the football field. In the world of boxing, victories go to those who are patient and focused. Are these the real fans of arrogance and provocations? They are quickly corrected by rivals.